So, since the Primogem situation right now is kinda rough for all of us, we're all gonna have to make some tough decisions pretty soon. Especially when you look ahead at what's coming in version 5.7. We're talking Skirk. We're talking Mavuika. We're talking Cryo meta, freeze comps, new synergy units, and probably the most stacked banner lineup we've seen in a while. But before that, we have to get through Phase 2 of version 5.6, and that's where it gets complicated. Because on paper, these banners look amazing. You've got Kinich returning for his first rerun, you've got Raiden Shogun, a literal Archon, and the Inazuma Chronicled Wish, which is packed with fan favorites. It sounds like a dream, but when you take a step back, do the math, and look at what's coming next, it might not be such a good idea to spend your wishes here. At least, not if you care about meta relevance and Primogem efficiency. So in this video, I'm going to give you my 100% honest opinion on whether or not you should actually pull on these banners. This isn't about aesthetics, waifus, or husbands. This is purely from a meta and resource management perspective. And spoiler alert, most of you already seem to agree with me. Let's start with what we're working with in Phase 2. We've got Kinich as the first 5-star. He's a unique Dendro DPS with a strong burning identity and some really fun, high-mobility playstyle in my opinion. He has great traveling capabilities in Nadlon and is overall together with Alhaitham the best Dendro DPS. Then we've got Raiden Shogun, who doesn't really need an introduction at this point. She's still one of the most powerful Electro units in the game and a staple for Hypercarry, Aggravate, or Hyper Bloom comps. The 4-star lineup is Kujo, Sarah, Toma, and Lynette, which is honestly decent. Sarah is a great buffer for Raiden, Toma has his niche in Virgin teams, and Lynette, well, she exists. And then there's the Inazuma Chronicled Wish, which brings together several limited characters from past versions into a unified rerun. On the surface, this is a lot. It looks generous. It looks tempting. But here's the thing. These banners are a trap. Let me explain why. First of all, Primogems are tight right now. Even with daily commissions, events, Abyss, and theater resets, most free-to-play players are only looking at around 30 to 40 pulls total for this phase. And that's across 3 banners. Not great odds. Now combine that with what we know about version 5.7. Leaks from HomDG Cat, who has been consistently accurate lately, confirm that 5.7 will include Skirk, Mavuika, Emily, and Shinha. This banner lineup doesn't just look good, it looks future meta-defining. Why? Because starting in 5.7 and leading into Nod Cry, we're heading into a cryo-focused meta. The Abyss buffs already confirm this, with 75% cryo damage bonuses, reaction-enhancing effects, and Night's Owl aligned damage scaling, which directly benefits both Skirk and Mavuika. If you're not saving for them now, you might regret it later. Even worse, if you do pull for Kinich, you're probably going to want to get Emily as well. That's because Kinich's strongest team, by far, is a burning team, and Emily is practically his best support. That's another banner in 5.7 you'll need resources for, meaning even fewer Primogems left for Skirk and the upcoming Cryo wave. You see where this is going? Pulling now could sabotage your pulls later. It's that simple. And I'm not alone in thinking this. Over 70% of you guys in my recent poll said you're skipping this phase entirely, and honestly, I think that's a smart move if you're chasing value and future-proof comps. Now with that said, there's one banner in this phase that I do think is worth considering. The Inazuma Chronicled Wish. Why? The weapons. Let's go over them. You've got Yuraka Misujiri, Shiori's weapon. Yes, it has a defense scaling passive, but it's still solid on other sword DPS units. Heron Geppuku Futsu, Aido's signature, and a really smooth weapon overall for attack scaling DPS builds. Mist Splitter Reforged, Ayaka's weapon. One of the strongest swords in the entire game for raw damage output. Thundering Pulse, a top-tier bow for characters like Wamiya and other normal attack-focused bow users. Redhorn Stone Thresher. Even though it's defense scaling, it's an amazing stat stick and very strong on characters like Ito or Noelle, but also decent on every Claymore DPS unit in general. The only somehow mid option is the Donut Everlasting Moonglow, a healing catalyst that really only shines on healers, and even then isn't Kokomi's best in slot. Outside of that, these weapons are top-tier tools for almost any account that values strong main DPS options. And yes, all of the swords are great for Skirk too, especially Miss Splitter. If you want a pre-farm for Skirk or prep weapons she can use, this banner is a fantastic way to do that, especially if you're missing multiple swords. And speaking of the Inazuma Chronicled Wish, I actually did a full breakdown on that banner 2 weeks ago, including a complete character tier list, my thoughts on who's worth pulling, and an overview into how the mechanics of the banner actually work. So, if you're seriously considering spending any wishes there, or you're still debating between weapons and characters, go check that out after this video. It'll help you make a much more informed decision. Because again, while this Chronicled Wish might be the only real bright spot in Phase 2, that doesn't mean every character in it is worth pulling. Some are amazing, some are outdated, and a few are just there to bait nostalgia. But depending on your account and what you're missing, this banner can absolutely be worth it. So yeah, if you're leaning toward that one, watch the breakdown and you'll know exactly who to go for. So in short, if you're a meta-focused player, this is probably the only banner worth considering during Phase 2. And maybe Kazuha, if you're one of the rare people who still doesn't have him, because that man will always be top tier. But beyond that, I'd honestly recommend skipping both Kinich and Raiden, unless you're pulling for collection purposes or personal attachment. Kinich is fun, and Raiden is strong, but neither of them is going to push your account into new territory. Not in the upcoming Cryo meta. Not with Skirk and Mavuika waiting in the wings. And I say this with love, pull who you like. Always. If Raiden is your favorite or Kinich's playstyle speaks to you, go for it. This video is just my personal, meta-based advice for players trying to get the most bang for their Primogems in the long run. But if you're saving for Skirk, if you're looking at the direction the game is heading, if you care about future synergy and roster efficiency, then yeah. These banners are probably not worth it. That's just my take. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if you're skipping, pulling, or just completely torn. And if you want a full breakdown of how many Primogems you can earn in Phase 2, I did a full video on that already. Check that out if you haven't yet. See you in the next one, and may your next 10 pull be golden.